Welcome into Real Deal Sports Talk with your man KP. It's Sunday, July 24th. All right, how's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Hope everybody's trying to do their best to avoid this heat we got going on, not only here locally in Colorado, but around the country as well. Stay safe. Find ways to stay cool. Don't be stubborn. Don't get yourself stuck in, a heat stroke situation because you think you're tough and you don't need water. Take time to protect everybody. If you see somebody out there who's overheating, it looks like they could use some water. Help them out a little bit. It's been hot. Let's just care about each other a little bit, right? One thing we can say for sure is that Chris Sale did not care for the throwback uniforms. As we have come to find out, he went all ape shit in the clubhouse before the game. And apparently Chris Sale, he's top pitcher in the game right now. Good last year, good this year. In fact, he's something around 14-2, 14-3. He's got a low 3 something ERA. And, so he's balling. He's pitching very well. And apparently he did not like the way on Saturday night before the Tigers game, when it was his turn in the rotation, he didn't like the way the uniforms felt. So he went all crazy, acted a fool, and apparently started cutting up or somehow destroying everybody's jerseys and uniforms so that nobody would be able to wear them for the game. Now, I don't know really what to think about this. He went completely off his rocker. The first thing that came to my mind when I heard this story, and this was reported, was what's going on with the White Sox organization? What's going on there? Remember, this is the team that back in spring training, you had a player quit because some people say his son was in the clubhouse and doing stuff around the team way too often. And he didn't appreciate the fact that, hey, this is baseball. Why can't I have my son around? Adam LaRoche took off, just quit. Remember, he was supposed to make $14-15 million this season and walked away from the White Sox. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. What is going on with the White Sox organization? And really, what's been going on with the White Sox since, the Frank Thomas days were over? Sure, Ozzie Guillen got him to that World Series. That was great. We all thought, okay, here, we're going to have the turn of baseball in Chicago. The White Sox looked like they were going to be good for a while then. That team got taken apart quickly because of bad contracts, bad planning. And now you got a top pitcher who, at this point, he's scratched from his start the other night, obviously. They weren't going to let him pitch against the Tigers. And now they've suspended him. Came out today. They've suspended him for 5 days, which means he'll probably miss his second start. That equals 2 starts. I don't know what his contract details are to know how much additional pay outside of the undisclosed fine he's going to have to pay for his actions. And so, monetarily, we don't know how this is hurting him. Publicly, it makes him look like a fool. And his name was being mentioned in trade rumors, which is also interesting. Here you got one of the top pitchers in the game going right now. He's 14-3 on the season, and you're looking to ship him out for prospects, because that's how baseball works mostly. Very rarely in baseball do you get blockbuster deals. You get prospect trades. You get salary compensation. You get these other things for players. It's because most baseball trades, you're looking to try and dump a guy, get rid of a guy. Or you're trying to get your guy that you really would like to have. And to do so, you have to make certain moves. So for his name to be in trade rumors, now who's going to trade for him after his antics the other day? Who's looking at the Chicago White Sox organization maybe like I am and going, okay, why is this top pitcher, why was that seasoned veteran at the beginning of the season so willing to walk away and or act a fool? Why are they so frustrated with what's going on there? Maybe if I bring this guy up on my team with my coaches, my manager, maybe Chris Sale all of a sudden takes us to that next level. So, hey, if I'm a team looking for starting pitching at the trade deadline, I'm going to investigate this incident thoroughly and decide for myself whether it's worth the risk to bring this type of guy into my staff and maybe make a push for a championship. His stats don't lie. He's balling out. So there's got to be something else that's going on there for him to just go crazy in the locker room and start cutting up uniforms like he's a teenage girl. I mean, let's be real. Who does that? That's a very immature thing to do for a professional. How frustrated do you have to be and upset about how tight your jersey are to go and rip them up? Like LeBron James when he ripped up the sleeves on the T-shirt jersey because reportedly he didn't like how it felt when he was shooting. It inhibited his shot in some way. Now, the rest of the season after that report came out, he didn't rip his jersey and he just let it be. But it made a big deal then. And now you got this guy, Chris Sale, just going crazy. And another thing, per Spot Track, he's also got a very team-friendly deal next year for a guy who's pitching the way he is. $12 million for 2017. So what else is going on there, either with the White Sox or with Chris Sale, that has put him in this position of frustration to lash out the way he did at the organization? Because to me, this is not, I'm lashing out at the jersey. I don't like the equipment manager. This was a bad publicity thing. I don't like HR. No, this is lashing out at the organization. I'm making a statement. I'm releasing this frustration. And the organization to take a player of his caliber who's been playing at his level and to be shopping him around when he's got a friendly deal, I think over the next, between now and 2019 or 2020, he's on the books for something like $38 million. Again, I understand that sounds ridiculous. That's a lot of money. But all being said, for a guy pitching at that level, that's not that much money in today's market. So we'll have to see how this goes with the trade deadline approaching. I just don't know what else to say about that. So after the break, we're going to come back and we will hit up 5 downs. Hey guys, the NFL season is almost here, and you know what that means? Fantasy football is right around the corner. Did you win your fantasy league last year? Would you like to win some extra money playing in a daily fantasy football this season? If so, the dirtcannon.com is here to help. You can get numbers and projections anywhere. But if you want to build a winner for a full season fantasy team or just looking to win consistently in daily games, then do what I did and join the dirtcannon.com. They have it all in one place, fellas. Whether a bronze member or a silver, they will hook you up. I recommend the silver package. Starting today for the silver package, use my code RDST and you will get a customized 2016 NFL Draft Kit, Draft Day Intelligence, and access to their award-winning lineup analyzer with expert insight and analysis. So win your league, make some money, and take home the bragging rights with thedirtcannon.com and use Real Deal Sports Talk's promo code RDST. And for the first month with my code RDST, get $4.99 off the first month of your silver membership. All right, fellas, I don't know if you remember this game back in 1990. I can kind of remember it. I wasn't big into watching college football then, but I was big into watching CU and Michigan. And if CU was playing a good game, I definitely watched it back then. My grandfather had season tickets to both the Air Force Falcons and the CU Buffaloes as a kid, so I got to see some pretty good games. But 1990, CU Buffaloes, Missouri Tigers, the infamous 5-down game where the refs screwed up, gave CU an extra down. They were able to score, and they went on to win the game. So this next segment, we're going to do this every Sunday. This next segment is inspired by that game and those 5 downs, with the 5th down kind of being an irrelevant topic. This will cover, obviously, football topics every Sunday, being that it is 5 downs and it's inspired by a football game. So let's get to it with first down. All right, first down. Sad news on the NFL front today, or, well, not today, but this week, with the passing of Coach Dennis Green. As many of you know, he coached for the Cardinals, he coached for the Vikings, he coached in some other upstart professional leagues. He even coached Dante Culpepper, I believe, for a team in California for one of these other leagues. But Denny Green, to me, I'll always remember Denny Green. Of course, there's the soundbite, right? When he coached for the Cardinals and they went to play the Bears and things unraveled and they ended up losing. The infamous soundbite after the game, they are who we thought they were. They are who they thought we were. He will always be remembered for that. I'll remember him for his time coaching, his time commentating, his love of the game, some of the guys that he coached with that are still coaching in the game today. But mostly I'll remember the battles that my Lions, my Detroit Lions, my team had with his Minnesota Vikings. I'll remember that team with Randy Moss and Randall Cunningham and how mystifying it was the season that they lost to Atlanta in the playoffs and should have been in the Super Bowl against the Broncos. It really would have given the Broncos a lot of trouble. Minnesota and Gary Anderson missing the field goal at the end of that game and sending Atlanta on really just set that win up for that Broncos team. Sorry, Broncos fans, but it did. It would have been a different game. Maybe not a different outcome necessarily, but a different game had that Minnesota Vikings team with Denny Green and them boys been able to get to the Super Bowl. That was a team, they figured out how to light the league on fire before it became the popular thing to do. They were putting up big passing numbers with Randy Moss. Their favorite play, and this frustrated me so much because of, the NFL is a copycat league. So other teams started to do this. But their best play was, I'm going to chuck it deep. He's faster than everybody on the field. He'll either outrun them or outjump them or get pass interference. And I swear that was 50% of their offense that season. That record-breaking offensive season they had. And that team looked like it wasn't going to do anything but get better when they drafted Dante Culpepper. You got a young, strong-arm stud quarterback who can get it deep to your speedy receiver. And we all know how it went down. The team chemistry fell apart. Denny Green moved on to Arizona, and things changed. But Denny Green's fire, his competitive spirit, it was respectful. There was no disrespect out of Dennis Green in the way he coached or the way he spoke about an opponent or his players. You could see the intensity. You could feel the fire. But there was no disrespect. He loved the game. He loved everything about it. Did he like when calls went against him? Nobody does. No, of course not. He didn't. And he has his sound bites like every coach who gets interviewed or every player who gets interviewed after a tough situation or a tough loss or a bad game or whatever. You're going to get honest emotion because they're in the moment. If you wait till 10, 15, 20 minutes after, they're going to compose themselves and give you a different answer. So there's some good Denny Green sound bits out there. And again, it's a sad day in the week for the NFL and the NFL family, community, fans, and I'll even include the business side on this, even though I don't like that side. But moving on, second down. All right, in second down, we have another big name associated with the NFL being dragged into domestic violence. Ezekiel Elliott, rookie running back out of Ohio State for the Dallas Cowboys. His ex-girlfriend is tweeting out, putting out, Snapchatting out, whichever social media she used, pictures of bruises on her neck and arm and I believe leg, and she's claiming that this is due to months of abuse from Ezekiel Elliott. Constant abuse, sometimes in the car, other places, whatever. And she's coming out now. If true, good for her. I'm glad she feels safe enough and brave enough to finally, put an end to it and put this guy in his place. If not true, like he's claiming, with the messages that he saved of her sending to him, if you break up with me, I will get back at you or I will ruin you, or however that was worded. I didn't write it down so I could